Within regular expressions, we use some operators, and those operators try to make our lives much easier. Let's just put it that way. Be careful. There's four major ones, and they all have a difference that at first it doesn't. You have to be really careful about the go figure syntax and semantics of each one of these. All of them positionally wise are going to come after either a character or a union or grouping of characters or productions. So the positioning is always going to be the same. It's going to be after something. But the operators themselves are very different. So there's a plus one, and the plus one means one or more. So it has to be one or more of those. I say that because the next operator, which is the multiplication symbol or star, whatever you want to call it, that's zero or more. Next one is our question mark, which means 0 or 1. So notice, man, that block is showing up right now. It's really important to understand there is a difference between the three, and it really makes a difference. Let's put it that way. So which one that you use, and obviously you want to be as restrictive as possible when it comes to what you want in your overall setup. Epsilon's going to be the first one time we've seen this. Epsilon's kind of the oddball. Epsilon's like, you can use me or not. It's like an optional character that if you really want to do this, fine. If you don't, so what? So that's about it when it comes to optional. We will see epsilon show up actually quite often when we get into some of our grammar stuff as y. So just hang on to epsilon here. So here's a chart going over the exact same thing. But one thing I didn't go over yet is actually two things. Is a dot. If you see a dot in a regular expression, it means that you can match with any character, and it's for only one character in your grammar set. Then we have our classes, or character classes, and they're going to be surrounded by square braces. So that's different than the regular parentheses. Square braces, they give you actually a couple of options here. If you happen to list all of your characters out, then those are your ORs, your A, B, or C, but you actually can do a dash in between them, and then you get all of the options between A and Z or whatever that you want in that particular class. But that's one of the big differences between that and parentheses. Big difference between that. But again, it's trying to make things easier on you in the long run when we come to matching strings to, well, what our regular expression can pick up and say, hey, we need this for this in our parser. So it's, again, all about pattern matching when we get to regular expressions. In following with this, there is a precedence of your operators. The precedence of your operators is what what you're used to. Parentheses is going to come first, then comes your operators, then concatenation, then your ORs, and then everything else after that if you see it. So there is a precedence to all this, and these are some examples that are going over all that. So in my very easy examples of clean examples here, we have an alphabet. We have a grouping of A, which gives us an epsilon, which again means, well, we don't have to use it if we want to, or we can use grand, and then B, and we have a couple of items from there. So what would we do if we had A and then the multiplication symbol or star, whatever you want to call it, and B? Well, number one is that we would do the chart, figure out what's going on here, and again, the only thing that's really in there is the multiplication or the duplication of a value. So here we can have A, and what does the star mean? Just go back to the chart here and what we've got, and the star is going to mean 0 or 1 of that particular instance. So if we wanted to build a whole dictionary of what we could do here, we could do it with grand or without grand. And then we're going to merge it with B, so we have to use B. Well, we have a couple of options for B as well. So notice, for all of the different combinations that we have, and this isn't even listing all of them, you can see the ... at the end of them, you can really see that A could either be in it or not. But we have to have something from B within our solution sets. You'll notice that blue is in every one of those options that we have in our overall solution set. So next part is our A, B, or C. We got to worry about that first. And then we have our one or more of that. So there you go with the different combinations that we have. So that would be our grammar that we get out of this set of, well, characters and regular expression. And then finally, when we have a union, just A and B. And again, we're using the same type of A with grand and epsilon. This is just a union. This one's going to have a finite number because, again, there's only a couple of combinations we can do without grand, and then with grand that's going to hit father and mother each time. So this is how this is going to work out. Does it get more complicated? Yeah, it does. But we needed a good foundation first.